The Nasarawa state government is seeking for collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development for the construction of rural roads. The aim is to boost agricultural production and marketing in the state. Governor Abdullahi Sule made the request when he paid a thank you visit to the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development. The governor also wants the state to participate in the Rural Agricultural and Marketing Project (RAMP), given its proximity to Abuja.
As well as the director in charge of rural roads, for the time you have taken to make this visit. So this is actually an appreciation visit. Come and thank you sincerely for what you have done. Indeed, from what you have seen on your own part, you have seen that Nasarawa state is truly an agricultural state. And if properly given the support, Nasarawa state will add a lot of value to the agricultural activities to Nigeria, especially in the areas that we have visited, areas of farm for rice, as well as cassava, yam, and other products. Now we have also used the opportunity also to visit some roads, which the Honorable Minister has mentioned that he will come back and look into them. So I came also to follow up, especially on the Domarukubi Road, the Azara Ginten Asha Rural Road, the rehabilitation of Awe Tunga Rural Road, the Lafia Kilema Rice Mill, their internal road, the borehole facility actually at the rice mill, the borehole facility also at the cassava processing, which I believe the Honorable Minister took a look at and said that maybe he will try to do the best he can. Let me add that we are grateful to the Honorable Minister for sending a team the same week we visited that came to take a look at some of these promises you made on the rural roads. So we came also to thank you sincerely for that. And we also want to use the opportunity, Honorable Minister, to express our interest on the part of Nasarawa State being an agricultural state for the rural access and agricultural marketing project called RAMP. Because of our proximity to the federal capital and because of the number of activities going on in that, we came to show interest and see how we can participate also in RAMP.
Nasarawa State is key to agricultural development of this country. It has all the potential. There is you can virtually grow anything in Nasarawa, from maize to rice to sugarcane, and it holds future for a strong agricultural relationship and the industrial sector relationship. I see the potential, especially in large-scale agro-allied industry in Nasarawa State. A clear testimony is Dangote sugar plantation development, which subsequently will lead to establishment of a sugar refining industry, which will employ nearly 30,000 people in Nasarawa State. I have visited the plantation. I have seen the sugar cane that is being grown there, the Brazilian breed, and is doing even better in Nasarawa than even Brazil itself. I am happy to say, you people, you should note that it is a pioneer and is the engine of that sugarcane plantation. In him, I see that Nasarawa will be lifted from a rural to a major industrial state. Let me be very frank with you. You hold that potential. And I think the business acumen that you put into your governance will be the thing that will attract people to come to Adamawa and invest, to Nasarawa and invest. On our own part, in the Ministry of Agriculture, I have already given you my word that we will give you support in some rural roads. We will give you support also in luring some major agricultural undertaking into the state, because we believe any serious farm and any serious industries will not fail in Nasarawa state. So I feel highly honored during the visit, and now I even feel highly honored for you to come and thank me, especially this time. I feel really greatly honored, and I look forward to really having a serious relationship towards agricultural development in your state.
It is a day of joy as indigenes of Agwan Paiche community roll out the drums to celebrate a historic achievement in their lifetime. Agwan Paiche is located in Panda Development Area of Nasarawa State. The community is predominantly inhabited by the Koro ethnic nationality. Indigenes of this community have lived for decades without a functional health facility. The absence of this necessitated the construction of this modern primary health center by the Karo local government authority. The facility is ready for use, and the Nasarawa State Deputy Governor is here with authorities of the local government for its inauguration.
As you all know, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to officially commission this healthcare facility as part of our commitment to support the federal and state government's efforts of providing quality healthcare and affordable services to our people. This is also in fulfillment of our determination to ensure that our people in rural communities have access to quality and affordable healthcare service without traveling a lot of distance to access same service in the already congested health facilities across the area. Your Excellency, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, it may also interest you to note that this healthcare facility we're commissioning today is not the only healthcare facility that this administration has provided. We have provided over 6 of them across the local government council. This is in our efforts to see that we strengthen healthcare services in our communities.
Institutions such as this, the primary healthcare center, is a thing of joy. It is a prayer of this government that it takes healthcare to the doorstep of each individual living within the state. And this structure here makes life a lot easier for the people of Agwan Paiche. And as I was discussing with the chairman of the local government, when I go back, I will invite the executive chairman of the Primary Care Development Agency to liaise with the chairman of the local government and his team so that this particular facility can be taken over by the Primary Care Development Agency so that issue of staffing and monitoring of activities here will be handled by this agency.
The center is bequeathed with necessary infrastructures such as a pre- and post-labor rooms, a pharmacy, functional restrooms, and bed spaces. The structure is a relief for the traditional institutions and residents of the community.
Everybody falls sick. Everybody needs medicine. Nobody is above health care. That is why the health sector, in whatever dispensation, is supposed to be above politics. I am happy that the present administration realized that.
Honestly speaking, we are very grateful. Before we don't have the health facility, and we used to suffer before we reach the health facility in Panda. And when it is raining, in the raining season, even one is sick, we cannot, unless we suffer to carry the person and cross these 2 rivers. We carry him on our heads, we back some on our back before crossing the river to Panda.
Before we are suffering because There's nothing we are, some the doctors we didn't have more, but as now even get the more for the now, we believe everything is going to be okay now.
The healthcare center is the sixth facility constructed by the Kara local government authorities in the last 3 years. The tenure of elected local government officials in Nasarawa State is gradually coming to an end. They are expected to exit office in May after completing the constitutional 3 years. The Nasarawa State Independent Electoral Commission, NASEC, is ready to conduct fresh council polls for the new officials. To achieve a credible poll, it is organizing this 2-day workshop for staff of the commission. The aim is to acquaint them with the current trend of election management.
The need for free, fair and credible election, devoid of rancor and ill feelings, has become more paramount, and the Nasarawa State Independent Electoral Commission cannot be left behind in the quest to entrench an electoral process that is based on best global practices. To this end, as we prepare for the forthcoming local government councils election in the state, the Commission remains fully committed to deliver on its mandate in the most responsible manner, and the need for our staff to be carried along in our robust preparation to succeed has become even more imperative. Hence the need for this training workshop. At this juncture, may I commend His Excellency Engineer Abdullahi Esule for his unflinching support for the smooth running of the Commission and for ensuring our independence.
The Nasarawa State government, on its part, says ensuring the independence of the Commission in the conduct of the polls remains its priority.
We also want to reiterate at this point that this government stands by the rule of law. It is for this reason that this administration has complied with the independence or the autonomy of local governments. In the same lines, we also are declaring that the Nasarawa State Independent Electoral Commission will be given 100% support to perform independently as it's constituted in the law.
Participants and the Inter-Party Council are hopeful that the training will equip the Commission to deliver on its mandate.
It's going to be maybe a kind of a cornerstone where some gaps will be closed. So that the conduct of the next coming local government election will be free and it will be credible.
We, the Inter-Party Council, are highly confident with the National State Government for showing transparency, showing understanding, and giving all necessary support to the Commission.
The local government election is expected to hold between the months of April and May 2021. It is the unveiling of the second phase of Operation Prof Adam by the Nigerian police in Nasarawa. Banditry, kidnapping, robbery, and other heinous crimes have been on the rise in recent times. But the police has made frantic efforts to combat these crimes, and one of such efforts is the introduction of Operation Prof Adam. Now it is introducing the second phase of the operation to rejig its effectiveness and efficiency.
Because the criminals are professionals, they research as well. They were trying to outwit the police, and that gave them a new visibility. And the Inspector General of Police, being an icon in security practice, he called the management and we deliberated on how to counter the offensive of the criminal element. Consequently, we came out with Operation Puff Ada 2. And that is what we are launching here today.
This man is one of the suspected killers of the former chairman of the APC, Philip Shoko. He was arrested by the police shortly after carrying out a similar operation in Away town of the state.
This man was arrested on the 14th at Away after he has committed another crime. He kidnapped somebody in Taraba and he requested for ransom.
Residents of the state are satisfied with the efforts of the police to fight crimes and are optimistic of a better result with the new operation.
I see it as a very good development because last year and this year we've experienced a lot of security challenges in Nasarawa state, and the launch of this Operation Pop Hada is going to help if the police will do their work diligently.
I believe if they want to do the job of tracking down whoever is responsible to the killing, because that was a case of assassination. Anybody telling us any other story, we don't want to believe. It's a clear case of assassination, and the security agent, I believe strongly with their training and with all they have, if they want to track the killer, they can easily do it.
27 other suspects were also arrested by the police for various crimes, and a sum of 1 million naira was recovered among other items.
The launch of the second phase of Operation Puff Harder will further enhance the capacity of the police to combat banditry, kidnapping, and other crimes that have been bedeviling the state in recent times.
The Director General of the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has disclosed plans to establish a regional training academy for the entire West Africa in Nasarawa State. This was revealed by the Director General during a courtesy call to Governor Abdullahi Sule in Lafia. The Director General wants to team up with the state government to stem the twin evil of human trafficking and irregular migration in the state.
Nasarawa State is very strategic. It borders the FCT. Human trafficking is the issue of national security, and I'm so excited about the governor's commitment as a key stakeholder to ensure that we fight this crime. Nasarawa State has its own peculiarities when it comes to human trafficking, and the governor has made the commitment, and he's also given us his support. So I'm so excited about the future of fight against human trafficking.
The Nasarawa State Governor is elated over the choice of the state for the NAPTIP Regional Training Academy. Governor Sule assures of the state government's commitment to provide adequate land for the project in Karo local government.
Nasarawa is indeed with you, and I believe the federal government is also with you in this renewed effort. In that line, Nasarawa State has already signed the anti-rape law last year, and we have already started working on that. We have also signed the child protection law here in Nasarawa State, and finally, we have also signed the VAP law in the state. And, with all these laws in place, we are ready to work with you, and I believe very, very strongly the committee will be very active, going through all the work that has to be done. I want to also thank you sincerely and thank your management for selecting Nasarawa and choosing Nasarawa State to be the venue for the NAPTIP Regional Training Academy. We feel highly honored that you are honoring us with an institution that is the only one in the entire West African region. We thank you sincerely for choosing that. I want to thank you and your management for selecting Nasarawa, and rightly so, because of the fact that Nasarawa has the longest boundary with Abuja, and for us to be there, and we are already looking at a site by the grace of God in Karu, the local government that has the boundary with Abuja. And once we obtain the site, I promise you Nasarawa State will fence it for you immediately.
A state task force on human trafficking was also inaugurated by the governor. The State Attorney General and the Commissioner of Justice would serve as chairman, while the zonal commandant of NAPTIP as the co-chairman.
You're welcome.
Okay, many people in Nasarawa State seem not to understand what the Bureau for Public Procurement stands for. Can you help us better understand the essence of the creation of this bureau?
Well, Godwin, thank you very much, and nice having me. First and foremost, we want to sincerely at least appreciate His Excellency, my Governor, Engineer Abdullahi Sule, for the courage and the political will he has given us by assenting to this all-important bill, and we thank God for it. The issue of procurement is not a new thing. It's just about the public service rules, the stores and stocks, and the financial regulations that have been well designed, and then along the line they got disappeared because of our attitude, because of corruption. And so it has now metamorphosed into what we refer to as the public procurement process, and that's due process. And the whole essence of it, the way our government actually does its business, compared to before, there's a departure
And why the departure? Is because of corruption. And the idea of public procurement in the public service is basically an integrity-centered mechanism. The key word there is integrity. And what is it all about? One, to ensure that there is transparency and fiscal discipline in the way government business is run, especially in the procurement of goods, works, and/or services. There are procedures that you go about it to ensure that you comply with the necessary rules and regulations, the procedure and the processes. And the essence of it is to ensure fiscal discipline to a reasonable extent, and to ensure that you comply with the value, with the processes involved in whatever thing you intend to procure as far as government is concerned. And the most important thing is to ensure that there is value for money. And that's the cardinal point. You see a lot of funny contracts over the years that are being colluded, with politicians here and there, and they lump a lot of money. When you go to see the projects, it's sad. The most important thing is to ensure that the value for money is actually guaranteed, and you comply with due processes. You ensure that all the processes, the regulations, the documentations, and the bills are quite right. There's a situation whereby you have some MDs bringing bills. I'm talking about the prices. Would that necessarily at least come in with the drawings and the designs? It is from the designs and the drawings that you can now at least originate your piece. And any time that these processes are not complied with, we make sure we step it aside until you do the right thing. And having done that, there are guidelines, there are processes, there are steps you have to take. Is the contractor legitimately registered, or is quacks? If it's a registered about payment of his 3 years audited accounts, is he regularly paying his taxes? Is he registered with the Bureau of Public Procurement as a legitimate contractor? Because some are fronts. Does he have all the necessary requirements? And does he have the capacity in terms of finances, in terms of even the technical capacity? Don't that most of them are just fronting. And so these are the kind of things that we just expect, because in most times we want to guide against this issue of of bloated contracts here and there, the issue of contract abandonment, because once you don't have the capacity and if it's not your field, they are just fronting to get whatever thing that they can get, and then government suffers. And that's why most of the bills that people say that Nasarawa State government is owing them today, they are not really debts. That's the truth. And after this, we intend to have in place, we have a state monitoring and implementation committee for every approval that His Excellency grants. We want to make sure we track it. You have to give social contract to this amount. This is the amount that has been advanced to you. We want to see how far you have gone before you will think of another tranche. In terms of doing the specific, rightly, in terms of the standards, in terms of the specifications, and that you are, devoting the money appropriately as expected. So once you follow them closely, they cannot get away with it easily. And God, you know that to have a law, especially Bureau of Public Procurement, is a serious issue. That's when you look at countries like, Thailand, Taiwan, you look at people, the developed countries, they are getting rightly because of the political will. Any governor that you see him, putting in place a Bureau of Public Procurement is a serious administrator. He's transparent, he's open, and he wants things to be done rightly. And so our thinking is that even after all these processes, we don't want to look at it just on the basis that we're meeting the eligibility criteria to get grant from World Bank or CSAS. No, we want even after the 4-8 years of positive stewardship, seamless stewardship of His Excellency Engineer Esule, that this process should be in the system. It will not die.
All right, what efforts are you making to sensitize public officials on this issue?
Yes, earlier we really had, when I was sworn in, of course, nobody likes change. People are talking about change. It has a price, a negative price. Change has a price. People look at it as if, it's change government, is this. It has to do with attitude. It has to do with integrity. If you are talking about change, you must be prepared to sacrifice, to do things rightly. So when we actually, His Excellency, by the grace of when he said he want me to pilot the place as the DG, we issue circulars to MDS. They need to know that it's no longer business as usual. Things must be done rightly. There are instances you can't even differentiate between contractors, politicians, and even civil servants. It is not correct. The only thing that a civil servant is actually supposed to do is farming. After the men, I think, are public service work. But most of them now are petty contractors. And we issue circulars with time. We are trusting we are going to have a single internet portal, so that everything that is going to be procured has to at least hit the network. And so what we did was to issue circulars, 1 or 2, to to MDS. It's not going to be business as usual. We must change the way we do things, and we must ensure that we're the custodian of service, and we must lead the government rightly. And that's why even we had audience with MBS, sometimes back, to sensitize people on it. And His Excellency graciously approved last year, that was October, November, a sensitization workshop for SMEs. And the law provides that these SMEs need to be encouraged. They grow the economy. Whatever little thing that they get here, 2 million, 3 million, they pluck it back after the normal salaries and pension that goes to the market. So they were sensitized and they were highly excited. And the next thing we are trying to ensure that it is a law, since it's enshrined in the law, to make sure some of them are carried along in small contracts. And that's what we did. And as God will also have it, today we are having a very, very serious, in fact today is like my birthday, my joyous day, because we are having a sensitization program for all the political and public office holders in the state. Starting from Executive Council today, special advisors, head of service, all of them are going to be taken today. And then for the next 2 weeks, we're having permanent secretaries, chief executive officers, heads of tertiary institutions. 2 days. The next 2 days, we're going to hold directors of finance, directors of plan research and statistics, heads of internal audit, and then even procurement focal officers that will drive the process in the MDS. And the last category of group is going to be the civil society group, consultants, so contractors. We need them to be aware that it's not going to be business as usual. They need to know the law. They need to know what it takes for you to be at least a contractor, for you to do business. I want to do it openly. And that's why we want to carry everybody along as much as possible to make sure this thing works. So we must ensure that we block leakages so that people can feel the impact of government. Government is not just for those of us that are appointed, it's for everybody. And that is the joy of it. And with this present government that we have, now that the political will is there, we want to at least get ourselves knitted to him, 100%. And we're happy for his coming. In fact, now that we have started, if you have been watching a edition of recent, National State government now is through him is giving a very high rating across the country because of the kind of leader we have. And so we must do everything humanly possible to stand by him to ensure that the process actually works. And sir, one important thing again is that last quarter we have started, because of doing things rightly, we have started attracting some grants from World Bank, free money for doing things rightly. They are rewarding us to do things rightly, which ordinarily we ought not to be so. And something we have never experienced before. And we're happy for it. And we're looking forward to more of the benefits I think that we derive from them.
All right, thank you very much for your time. I do hope that as time goes on, you continue to give us updates.
You're welcome.
Your office.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.